Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money channel. So do you have the mental fortitude to buy more Bitcoin under the realized price? And I mean, whether it's Bitcoin or other altcoins, the fundamental concept is the same. Fighting narratives like $10,000 in a recession, many will wait on a 2015 scenario where Bitcoin returns to lows and miss out entirely. The bull market cross is here. It is time to get on board. And this one coming from CryptoCon on Twitter. Just taking a look at the Bitcoin price, and guys, another indicator suggesting that the bottom is already in. Again, this is not financial advice, but as per this indicator, the bottom's already in. You guys can see the bull market cross from way back here in 2012. Similar to what we saw in 2015, albeit not exactly the same. Here we saw 5 months under the realized price. In 2015, we saw 10 months under the realized price. And here, the bull market cross in the most recent bear market was 6 months under realized price. Guys, now we are at about the same period of time we saw back in 2019, so 6 months under realized price. And now we have seen Bitcoin pumping. This last week has been great for Bitcoin price action. This is Bitcoin on the weekly. And again, I talk about Bitcoin because it is the heart of the market. It is the leader of the pack. Altcoins will surely follow. Right now, Bitcoin is trading at $24,600 per coin. Throwing that on the hourly, you guys can see here, throw that on auto. We did see that high of about $25,200 before sellers took profit. And then we rebounded back up again. Bitcoin looking fairly healthy though now on that micro time frame. The bullish pennant pattern, and we can already see right in here inklings that Bitcoin price is going to continue to the upside. So hopefully that is the fate of Bitcoin and the fate of the rest of the market. Another thing that I wanted to mention here, throwing a Fibonacci on the last bear market in 2018 and throwing one here, I can show you guys something that I'm finding kind of interesting. This little moment in time here that we saw over the last couple of weeks, that first retracement after Bitcoin did rally, right in and around here, that is roughly, if I bring down the price tool, that is roughly about 24% down from the 0.236 on the Fibonacci. And what we saw back over here, similar numbers. If I bring up that price tool, you guys can see from the 0.236, we can see that also happened there, about 25.6% before the move to the upside. Of course, we did hit the 0.618 before retracing back down. So are we going to hit the 0.618? And I mean, that would be over a few months still, but the 0.618 price point that did hit in the last bull run, that would bring Bitcoin up to nearly $49,000. I think we do have to break some barriers before that. Rager here on Twitter kind of echoing that same sentiment. If Bitcoin can make it above $28,000, which by the way is this point here, okay? So basically the 0.236 would bring Bitcoin at $28,200. That is kind of the first level that we're eyeing. He says if we go above 28, we should see alts continue to perform well with a likely rotation ending in meme coins. So that is when we are going to see the altcoins take off, guys. Haven't seen Doge do too much yet. So when it does, I'll assume we're getting close to the end of the fun. Raging would likely follow a pullback, maybe a slow bleed or chop for a while, with perhaps another big rally towards the end of the year, front-running the Bitcoin halving hype, which we know Bitcoin halving will happen several months from now, followed by another pullback post-halving, then up only. So, after the halving, I think that's when we're going to see most of the action. However, even in the last bull run, we did see a lot of action after that first bear market year. Now we have concluded the first year of the bears since about November of this year. Coincidentally, or maybe not so coincidentally, that coincided with the FTX collapse, so perhaps upward momentum from here on in. I'm crossing my fingers, and many indicators are pointing to yes. Frecky here on Twitter posted this with regards to Hbar. Those who down cost average get rewarded. Build quality portfolios in the bear market and hold for bear markets to get rewarded. Now, I don't know how many of you guys are holding Hbar, but this was definitely one of my proudest buys in the latest bear market. And here's where you are on the chart. If you do hold Hbar, as per the online indicator, if you hold upward of 25,000 Hbar, you are considered a salmon within the top 24% of holders. If you hold over 100,000, you are a tuna, up within the top 8.6 holders. If you hold a million Hbar, you are considered a shark. About 1% of holders hold a million Hbar, so on and so forth. So, again, Hbar was one of those great opportunities that I happened to jump on. I did have some money sitting on the sidelines, and I decided, yeah, gonna buy some Hbar. I did the research, thought to myself, a great opportunity to get into something to diversify a little bit. I know my XRP bags have been packed for a while now. So, and I'm at a pretty good cost average for XRP. I'm averaging about 17 cents for my XRP. HBAR here, though, I bought at 0.041. So happened to get into that particular cryptocurrency, and I am not complaining. Tell me down in the comments if you guys are holding HBAR or any other cryptocurrencies for that matter. I mean, basically, ever since the FTX spectacle, since that point, we had a good month, 2 months to really accumulate some good quality coins. So let me know if you guys bought anything interesting. I happen to also see this rumor going around. Binance will consider delisting tokens from any US-based project. As it turns out, though, this rumor is false. So I happen to see this news article following that statement. CZ denies Binance is considering delisting tokens from US projects. Blockchain has no borders, he says in his response in a tweet on Friday, which was just yesterday. CZ said false in response to a post claiming that Binance was considering delisting all US-based cryptocurrencies. He then added that blockchain has no borders when someone asked what a US-based token even was. The post was referring to a Friday Bloomberg report. So a mainstream media outlet, which claimed that Binance, the world's biggest crypto exchange, was thinking about ending its relationship with US business partners such as banks and intermediary firms. I'm really glad that CZ came out in front of this and quashed this claim before the mainstream media picked up on it, because this could have snowballed. And essentially, it's pretty obvious here. They are trying to really dissuade us from getting into cryptocurrency. And if the FTX thing, wasn't enough, they got the SEC cracking down on staking, cracking down on, some of the biggest firms like Kraken, even launching a lawsuit against Coinbase, for example. So, the latest piece of lies, FUD, I guess you could say, suggesting that CZ is going to actually delist US-made coins. And again, let me point you to the fact that this was Bloomberg reporting this, a mainstream news outlet that got it wrong by accident, not by accident. I don't know. You decide. But lots of new developments happening in the crypto space with lots of different great projects like VeChain. Cryptic Poet bringing this to our attention. The VeChain Foundation recently unveiled the Hive, a Web3 and sustainably focused summit build to champion pioneering applications of blockchain technology for sustainability purposes. So there's going to be an event taking place in Las Vegas next month at the Red Rock Resort. The fee to attend the one-day event will present groundbreaking VeChain-related content and hear from projects advancing global sustainability objectives with Web3 technology. So they're really focused on Web3. Gives you some details on the event and who will be attending, who is sponsoring it. During the event, VeChain's new white paper will be released detailing a groundbreaking new economic approach to sustainability based on blockchain technology and incentivized ecosystems that reward stable actions. The VeChain Foundation is proud to play a leading role in digital sustainable revolution and looks forward to unveiling more. To secure your place, you can click here if you guys are interested in attending. But it's great to see the projects that obviously have money, that are continuing to thrive, that have managed their money well during the bear market. So, we've seen 1 year now of a bear market. The companies that are still around, the blockchain companies that are still thriving, still throwing money at events like this, are, of course, the projects that we should really be paying attention to. And VeChain, just another great one. So I wanted to thank the Cryptic Poet there for posting that. With regards to XRP utility and payments, guys, I happen to see this from you today. XRP payments can now be accepted on Shopify-enabled sites. So we talked a little bit about Shopify and how they were integrating XRP payments. But here we have Now Payments. They just announced something new. XRP payments can now be accepted on Shopify e-commerce sites thanks to a tool from crypto payment gateway Now Payments. Among the available solutions that Now Payments provides to businesses that want to accept XRP as a payment are e-commerce plugins. And they posted a tweet the other day, 9 years ago today, the first ever Ripple XRP transaction. Since then, XRP has made significant strides in revolutionizing cross-border payments and changing the financial landscape. So they put out this article on their blog here, and there's a link where you can accept payments, basically outlining what XRP is. Is it a viable payment option in 2023? And I think as the years go on, XRP is becoming more of a viable payment option. It has been since the beginning, but I think it's going to be a bit of a snowball effect, a bit of a chain reaction where, we start to see companies like Shopify, which is a fairly big company. Just to give you guys a sense, they are a Canadian multinational e-commerce company headquartered in Ottawa, Ontario. Shopify is the name of its proprietary e-commerce platform for online stores and retail point-of-sale systems. They do trade on the NYSE. The stock is trading at about $43.61. And their revenue, $2.93 billion. That was their 2020 revenue. So a fairly big company accepting XRP for payments. So this article just kind of going over, some of the background, XRP history, the pros and cons. I mean, stuff we already know. And then they add click XRP payments. So you can go here, now payments, you can create an account. And if you do have a company that does want to accept payments with XRP through XRP, there's an easy way to set that up. So some interesting news here from Now Payments, keeping the option open, XRP transactions, great to see, and is going to add more value to the network. Gonna keep moving though, because of course the SEC continuously being a thorn in the XRP community side. This one from XRP Crypto. Will former Ripple executive believes that ETHGate is true? So boom, we got an XRP executive, or rather a former one, agreeing that, all the information is adding up slowly but surely. Let me explain. This one has to do with Matt Hamilton. He did express his opinion on ETHGate, which is the theory that Ethereum is a conspiracy, and regulators were given the green light while investigators have been initiated against XRP and several other cryptocurrencies. So Matt Hamilton responded in a tweet thread here. This originated from Digital Perspectives on Twitter, posting about the Rosalind Layton article from a few days ago. I did a video on that. I'll link it up here if you guys didn't catch it. Jimmy Valley responded here. More coincidence with these media companies and the SEC versus Ripple case. Strange, right? Matt Hamilton decides to come in on this and responding. You mean an article published about the SEC? So he was sounding a little skeptical. And down here in the tweet thread, there was a bit of a spat between Matt Hamilton and Jimmy Valley. Matt Hamilton decided to lash out to Jimmy Valley about the buyback theory down in here, and I'll link this tweet thread in the description if you guys want to read the full thing. I wanted to get to the meat and potatoes, though. Jimmy Valley then asks, Hammertoe, let's put the buyback thing aside. Do you believe ETHGate is real or a conspiracy theory? And Matt Hamilton responds, of course. I've never doubted that. I think there are some that stretch it a bit far, that this is some global elites conspiring to get our XRP nonsense. But I do think that it is plausible that Gensler had his motives and incentives to file when he did. The emails will be interesting to read. So Matt Hamilton, coming out, essentially agreeing that the ETHGate thing is not just being made up in our heads. So take that, Charles Hoskinson. All right, okay, let's move along, guys. It is getting a bit preposterous, I gotta say, with the crypto regulation and, the SEC not really coming to a conclusion on the cryptocurrency, namely XRP, that is going to solve the United States' financial liquidity problems, once a new financial system is ushered in. We've got to consider what is happening around the world, and the Bank of Russia has now announced that they will be starting their digital ruble customer pilot program starting in April of 2023. This one from Michael Branch here on Twitter. Russia's central bank is launching a digital ruble program. It's going to be starting on April the 1st, the first real-world digital ruble transaction involving 13 local banks, and several merchants will be conducted, according to Olga Skorobogatova, who is the first deputy governor of Russia's central bank. The pilot project will involve actual operations and customers in Russia, but will be limited to a fixed number of transactions and customers, TASS reported. So she stated that the Ural Formal Cybersecurity in Finance event, which is held on the 15th to 17th, so last week, that the digital ruble project would be launched on April 1st with transactions involving individual transfers as well as payments in trade and service enterprises. So Russia, there were already talks about backing their digital ruble to gold. So maybe the central bank digital currency project in Russia will in fact incorporate this. We don't really have too many other details with regards to this. The Bank of Russia, though, officially introduced the digital ruble rollout roadmap in June, and the consumer CBDC pilot, originally scheduled for 2024, was moved to an earlier date due to the Western economic sanctions against Russia. So they've actually moved up the date. I think they see an opportunity here. The West in a huge cluster F. Markets are all over the map, and uncertainty, I think, has gotten, a lot of people afraid. So Russia, possibly seeing an opportunity here, moving it up to April 2023 as opposed to their original 2024 schedule. I'm not surprised, to be honest. In addition, some Russian officials have claimed that the Bank of Russia is considering a potential gold-backed token for cross-border transactions. So there's also that. Remember, guys, in 2018, Russia and Sberbank, they were officially piloting XRP. We've heard about the gold-backed token, cross-border payments, central bank digital currencies. So what will that mechanism be? It is still yet to be determined. But I mean, if Russia gets on board with this sooner than later, I don't think it would be in the US's best interest if they lagged behind. Obviously, my opinion. Take it or leave it. Meanwhile, from 801_XRP, an interesting clip here from former Office of the Controller of the Currency, Brian Brooks, and his view on where banks are going to go in the future. Spoiler alert, he doesn't think the landscape will look the same in the coming years. Listen to this.
Like what I spent my time as controller doing was sort of raising the question of what constitutes a bank, what is banking, and the point that I tried to make in chartering the first fintech bank and then later the first crypto bank was the idea that banks are legacy money centers for the aggregation of capital and then the dissemination of capital into the economy, which is what we've always thought of banks as being, and that banks have to offer all of the services that we historically associate with banking to get a bank charter is itself the false narrative. That was my point. So I did a lot of writing around the idea that there is an unbundling going on in financial services made possible by technology, where you can now engage in payments without taking deposits, I would argue. You couldn't do that 100 years ago. That was not technologically possible. And so my point about bringing them into the banking system, the reason it's not a contradiction, I don't think banks as we currently know them will exist in 50 years. There will still be banks. I mean, JP Morgan will be a company and they will do stuff. Yeah, replace the system, replace the banking system. So the banking system is based on the concept of the money center. Banks are just like the post office. It used to be that the only efficient way to send money or to send a letter from New York to Omaha was you had to collect all the letters in New York at the central post office so that they could be sorted by zip code and sent out somewhere. And then people invented internet, and you don't have to do that anymore. The need for the collector function, the central intermediary function, vanished because of technology. My argument is that's happening to banking. You can like it or not like it, but it inevitably is happening. And so my point is the system of supervision that we have, the system of risk management and disclosure needs to be adapted to the new regime, just as Saleh says, the same way it applied to the old regime. The old regime won't be here in 50 years. And so how do we anticipate that and provide protections and risk management to make sure the new system works? That was my point.
So Brian Brooks here essentially stating, we're coming into a new era of banking and, the old system is just not going to exist. So how do we adapt to the new system? Of course, RippleNet DLT technology, that's going to play a big part in this. The Fed's already committed to running on Valente, which is a Ripple-enabled technology company as well. So DLT technology is already, in their minds with regards to resolving this problem and keeping up on their competitors like the Bank of Russia, the Central Bank in China, and these other big players that form some of the BRICS countries. So is it any surprise that this just came out the other week? This is from a couple of weeks ago now, but we're just noticing it. This was from the Big Tech and Finance Conference from the Bank for International Settlements, the BIS. And did you guys notice in the CBDC section here, CBDCs, challenges in this world, countries must cooperate to create cheap cross-border payments. Now, for reference, we know the BIS is already very cozy with Ripple and XRP as a solution. No fixed fee and percentage fee, no opaque choice for FX rates, some form of international legal tender. Could they mean XRP? Well, I happen to find the clip here. It's about 30 minutes into this BIS presentation that's only about 40 minutes long. It was the last slide. Listen to this.
So in a sense, I'm not reinventing the wheel. I'm just saying, let's do things better. But the same principles. The countries could cooperate, and that would be very important in my view, to create a cheap cross-border payment option. As you know, it's very expensive, including in developed countries, actually, to transfer money. All those fixed fees, percentage fee, some kind of foreign exchange rate, which is quoted to you. We need to have some form of international legal tender. So, for example, you could make any transfer you want from euro to dollars, and then you'll be paying the ask price or the bid price, depending on which direction you go. On a very liquid market, that would be great. I would certainly go for that.
We need some form of international legal tender so that there is no opaqueness when converting dollars to euros or any other example of fiat currencies. Basically describing XRP to a T here with regards to cross-border payments. And Real Boy XRP noticing this, circling back just a little bit to the clarity in the United States and the SEC. Again, this is from the BIS's website here. First, to effectively address regulatory concerns and achieve technology-neutral regulation, authorities will need to clarify cryptocurrency-related activities from legal and security market perspectives. and to do so according to economic purpose rather than technology used. So, is the BIS in bed with the SEC? Sounds like they're supporting their actions to crack down on cryptocurrencies, but by doing so, they're eventually going to be giving clarity to the cryptocurrency that is going to change the face of finance, as per the BIS here, an international legal tender that will make cross-border payments seamless. It's all pointing to XRP to me. That's just my opinion, though. I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.